Good morning, everybody. My name is Jackie Ferrado. I'm the Community Relations Manager with the Washington 529 College Savings Plans, the Guaranteed Education Tuition Program, and Dream Ahead College Investment Plan. Welcome to today's webinar, Making Changes to a Get Custom Monthly Account. Diana Hurley, the Get Contact Center Manager, is our guest speaker, and she's going to facilitate today's webinar. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. The webinar is planned for approximately 20 to 30 minutes, which includes some time for Q&A. Please feel free to add any questions to the chat box and include everyone. Carrie on our team will be monitoring the questions and may be answering along the way. Diana will also answer your questions that come into the chat box at the end of the presentation. However, if you have any questions that may be very specific to an account, you might hear Diana say or suggest that connecting one-on-one after the webinar might be better, so she'll get your contact information and do further follow-up. You can also contact someone in either of our contact centers with your questions. There will be a slide at the end of the presentation that includes email and phone numbers for each of the programs. Now with that, I'm going to turn it over to Diana.
Thank you, Jackie, so much. I'm really excited to be here today to discuss the different options available for our customers with custom monthly plans. On the agenda today, I will be doing a brief overview of what a custom monthly plan is. Then I will go over the different options available for contract changes. Next will be information on how the account change requests are processed and how to actually make the contract change. Then I will discuss what to do if you have an automatic monthly bank withdrawal or payroll deduction. We will have some time to go over questions and share information about an exciting new project called the Knowledge Cafe. One thing to remember is that everyone's situation is unique, so we ask that you call our contact center staff and discuss your individual account options before making any changes. We are happy to go over these options in detail to help you meet your college savings goals. Here is a brief overview of a custom monthly payment plan. Custom monthly plans are designed for you to make monthly payments over time to purchase a specific number of units. They range from 50 to 800 units and increase in 50-unit increments. Depending on the age of the student, you can finance the contract anywhere from 1 to 18 years. The contract must be open for 2 years and paid in full before it can be used. Custom monthly payment plans are assessed a finance charge that is compounded over the length of a contract. Also, you have the option to buy lump sum units at any time on your custom monthly plan. You can find additional information under the Explore Options page on the website at get.wa.gov/explore-options. We have 4 different options available for your custom monthly plan. You can make the change that best fits your goal for college savings. You can reduce the number of units on your account. Another option may be to reduce the terms for the length of the time you make your payments. Depending on how you originally set up your account, you may have the option to increase the terms. And finally, you have the option to convert your custom monthly plan to a lump sum plan. One thing I want to remind you is once you make a contract change, you're unable to change it back at a later time. So make sure you talk to our contact center before you submit your account change request. I thought it was important for you to know how account change requests are processed. When our finance department processes these changes, it changes the entire contract as if it were that way from the time you open the account. We use the same custom monthly payment chart the year the account was originally open and change the payment amount due to reflect the same monthly payment required from that year. So for example, if you have a 200-unit custom monthly plan that you opened in 2010 and your payment due every month is $198 and you reduce your units to 100, we will go back to the chart from 2010 and set your new payment amount to $100 a month. Depending on the current status of the account, you could be paid ahead by several months or even paid in full if you reduce your terms as well. One of the most popular options available for custom monthly plans is to reduce the units on your plan. The units can be reduced in 50-unit increments. You're unable to reduce more than what has already been purchased on the account. If you have a 200-unit custom monthly account, it can be reduced to 150, 100, or even 50 units. So for example, if you have 175 units purchased on your 200-unit contract, you're unable to reduce it to 150, so we would need to look at other options available for you. Reducing your account could possibly cause your account to be paid ahead by several months, or could create a paid in full account with no additional payments due. Another option that may be available is to reduce the terms on your custom monthly plan. This allows you to reduce the number of years you are paying on your custom monthly account. A lot of account owners will set up their custom monthly plan with a full term contract. That means it's designed to be paid in full the year the student intends to use the units. You have the option to shorten the term if you choose. However, it will adjust the terms from the beginning of the contract, and you will have a large amount due to bring it current. Most account owners will reduce the terms at the same time as they reduce units, so their account is paid in full and no further payments will remain on the account. There is a limit on how far you can reduce the terms on your account. You're unable to reduce the terms past the number of years that the account has been open. This will be rounded to the next full year. So for example, if you're contracted to make payments over 15 years and your account has been open for 10 years and 3 months, you can reduce the terms to 11 years. Even if it was open for 10 years and 11 months, you can still only reduce to 11 years. If your goal is to have a paid in full account so you don't have to make any more payments on your custom monthly plan, then you would likely have to reduce the units and the terms at the same time. Another option that is less popular for account changes is to increase the terms on your contract. This usually happens for those who set up a shorter term to begin with. Let's say the student is scheduled to start college in 15 years, but the account owner wants to pay off their account sooner. They may have done a contract to make payments over 10 years, so it's paid in full 5 years before the student needs to use it. For some account owners who are having financial difficulty, they could increase the terms just as long as the account is paid in full before the student needs to use their account. This would reduce the monthly payment amount that is due on the account and would be paid ahead for several months. This option is only available based on the terms of the account when it was open. This may not be the best option for you. It depends on when your account is scheduled to be paid in full. The account must be paid in full before it is eligible to use, and increasing terms could extend it past the intended date you plan to use the units. Again, please give us a call and we can help determine your options. The final option available is to convert your account to lump sum. If the other contract changes aren't suitable for your situation and you no longer want to make payments, this may be the option for you. When we process the conversion to lump sum, our finance department will repost all of your monthly payments to buy lump sum units. The payments will buy units at the rate available when each of the payments were received, and you are no longer required to make monthly payments. When converting to lump sum, your account is no longer locked into the rate at the time you open the account, and any new payments going forward will be posted at the unit price in effect at the time those payments are made. Currently, the rate is $121 through June 25th. Also, units must be held for 2 calendar years before they are eligible for use. This is something to pay attention to before converting, especially if your student is close to using their account. Depending on when you need to use these units, this may not be the best option for you. It's important that you call our contact center to go over the best options for your individual account before making any changes. We will review the options with you and help you determine what fits your needs. Once the contact center staff is done going over options, they will email you a pre-filled account change request form for you to sign and return. You can also find the paper account change request form on our website at get.wa.gov/forms. You can mail it to our P.O. Box in Olympia, scan and email it to getinfo@wsac.wa.gov, or fax the form to us. This information is provided on the actual form. Most accounts are set up with some kind of automatic payment. So if you have an automatic monthly bank withdrawal, also known as an ACH, or a payroll deduction, you'll have to make sure to change or inactivate that. If you have an ACH, that can be changed on the actual account change request form, or you can log into your account online and find the Payment Options tab to make the appropriate change to either inactivate or change the withdrawal amount each month. If you have a payroll deduction, that's a bit different. You have to inactivate or change the withdrawal amount using the payroll deduction authorization form and send it to our payroll office, and you'll need to send it to your payroll office and send a copy to Get. Your payroll office will make the requested change on your paycheck. The payroll deduction authorization form can be found on our website at get.wa.gov/forms. I've included a few other resources that you may find interesting regarding 529 plans. You can look at the different options available for Washington State's 529 college savings plans at www.wastate529.wa.gov. You can learn more about Get and search for FAQs, and you can also learn about the Dream Ahead program, the Washington Student Achievement Council, College Savings Plan Network, and also IRS Publication 970. I hope those links are helpful for your college savings goals. Thank you again for joining us. I'm going to forward you on to Jackie to go over whatever questions that you may have.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for entering in some questions for us to have Diana answer. So Diana, the very first question we have is kind of a two-parter, but basically I think you'll get the same answer out of it. The first question is it necessary to make changes to our existing account? Are we being forced to change what we have already set up?
That's a great question, Jackie. There is no reason for you to make a contract change. This is not something that's required. We just felt it was really important to share information to our account owners about different options that are available. We have been getting questions quite often about different situations that families are going through where they may be having a financial hardship. And we wanted our customers to be aware that there may be options available for your account. So you don't have to make any changes at this point, but if you feel like it's something that might benefit you, you are definitely encouraged to call our contact center, and we'll look at your specific account and go over options with you. And you're not forced to make any changes at this time either. This is completely optional. And it's something that, as an account owner, you would need to decide and make a decision based on what fits your college savings goals.
Great, thank you. So the next question comes from somebody who has said, my account is paid in full and my child graduates high school in 2022. He might consider active duty military. Can I add his sisters to the account?
You have the option to change the name of the student on the account. That way, if your child decides doesn't need to use the funds in the Get account, the account can be transferred to another sibling, as long as to a sibling of the child, or even down to a first cousin. So you can make a change of the student beneficiary. Another option is if you have more than one student and you need to use it for, if that student has other siblings that might want to use the units, you also have the option to open a new account, and our enrollment period ends on May 31st. So you can do that online. The $50 application fee is waived if you submit your online enrollment by May 31st online, and open it for one of the students, and then do what's called a transfer request form from this account to one of the other accounts that you have open. Or you have the option to do a student beneficiary change form.
Okay, so I'm going to add a follow-up to that. And they didn't actually ask this, but that would mean that if it's going to another beneficiary or other beneficiaries, if they have different start dates, it's okay, right? They don't have to start college at the same time as this particular beneficiary, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
when you change the name of the student beneficiary, we ask what the benefit use year date is, and that helps us determine when the student will be needing the funds.
Okay. The next question is about the value of the GET account. So the question is there a concern the value of a plan cannot be guaranteed going forward? She comments, my kids are 1 and 3 away from using next fall, so we chose to stay in at the last offering.
The great thing about the GET account is it's guaranteed to keep pace with the cost of rising tuition. So no matter what tuition does when the student is ready to use the funds, it will match tuition at that time. So if you have 100 units, that will pay for 1 year of tuition and state mandated fees at the highest priced Washington State Public University. Usually that is either UW or WSU. So we'll look at what their tuition amount is for tuition and state mandated fees. Every August 1st, that value will be adjusted to match what that tuition rate is. So when you get ready to use your units, that's what we will determine for the payout value when you start to use those units. And the great thing about the GET account is it's guaranteed to match tuition. So because it's not part of the stock market based 529 plans, it doesn't matter what the stock market's doing, whether there's ups and downs to that. What's great is that we look at what tuition's doing and base the payout value on that.
Great, thank you. So next question was, if you switch from a custom monthly plan to a lump sum, say 10 years into a 15-year contract, will you end up with fewer units?
That really depends. You may end up with more units than you currently have, or even than what you are financing for. But you could end up with fewer units. It all depends on when you open your account and what you locked in, what unit rate you locked into. So if it was a 2009 account or 2010, 11, 12. So it all depends on when you open your account and how long you're making those payments for. It's definitely something I would encourage you to call our contact center and talk about because they will give you specific information about the account. And as you can see, I have the contact information for our contact center posted on the screen, so that's a helpful tool for you to reach out and get that question specifically for your situation answered.
Okay, good. So another question comes in. My GET account will be paid in 2021 when my daughter graduates high school. Should she go to college out of state, can I roll over to a 529 that I can use the funds for out of state tuition?
That's a great question, and it's one of the biggest misconceptions of our program is that it can only be used in Washington State. So if you have a GET account, you can use it at any state that accepts U.S. federal financial aid. So what that means is the students can go to school in any other state in the United States or even out of the country in other countries around the world, as long as the school accepts U.S. federal financial aid. So a good tool to determine that is if you have to fill out the FAFSA to apply for school for financial aid. There's also a website that you can look at the FAFSA, on the FAFSA website. There's a federal school code search that you can do a search for the specific school that you're going to be attending, and that'll help you determine. But the majority of, there's so many schools that accept federal financial aid. We don't keep a list of those because there's so many. And if you have questions about that, we can actually do the research for you. If you call our contact center, we'll look on the website, the FAFSA website, and determine if your school is one of those listed. So it can be used out of state. We base the payout value, whether you're going to an in-state Washington state school or an out-of-state school, the payout value will remain the same. So if you have 100 units and you're going in-state, it's going to match whatever UW or WSU pays out for tuition and state mandated fees. If you go out of state and you're attending, if their tuition is more expensive than University of Washington or WSU, whatever our payout value is determined, then you would use additional units if you have them available, or pay the difference out of pocket. However, if it's a less expensive school, then you would just use fewer units on from your GET account to pay your tuition at that out-of-state school. I hope that helps.
Yeah, so the nutshell on that is she can certainly still use it. She doesn't have to roll it out. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, another question is they have a full-term contract, apparently that they began in 2003, and it will be paid in full in January of 2021. So she says her child will not need to use GET until the following September, and that they purchased enough units already, and they're interested in stopping, however, making payments. However, there is not an increment of 50 units left to purchase. Is it possible to stop purchasing any more units? It sounds like a custom monthly plan that she's wondering if she could just stop where she's at and still have enough units to cover what she's interested in covering.
That is definitely something that I would encourage you to call and talk to our contact center for. What they'll do is pull up your specific account and look at the options that may be available for you. There might be a possibility of a change that could benefit you, but without having your account open specifically, it would be hard for me to answer that question. So I would definitely encourage you to reach out to our contact center, and they will help you get that question answered and look at your specific account and give you the details that they're available for you.
Okay, very good. So we've got two more questions here. This one is, my account has 461 units. So they have said that it was in 3 days plus phase 3. So they had additional units purchased because they contracted for 400 units and it was already paid in full. The student will not need until at least 2022. If 100 units equals 1 year, does my account have 4.5 years? And can I round up to an even 500?
So if you have 450 units, then that is basically you would have 4.5 years of tuition and state mandated fees at the highest priced Washington State Public University. So depending on the tuition amount for the school the student's attending will determine whether or not that's a full 4.5 years. You said you have 461 units, so you can take those additional units to pay for extra things like books or room and board. It probably wouldn't cover the full amount, but it definitely will help in covering those expenses. And you're asking if you can round up to 500 units. So that is definitely something that, based on the student's age, because they're going to school in 2022, I'm not sure that the GET account would be the best option for you to buy additional units in, since the student is so close to going to college, because there is a 2-year requirement to hold those units before you can use them. And also we charge a premium in our unit price, which is above what current tuition is. So I would definitely encourage you to seek out other options if you're wanting to have additional savings for your student for college. You know, the Washington State has a new 529 college savings plan called the Dream Ahead program. And that might be something that could benefit you in the short term for your student and your college savings goals. If you're wanting to put additional funds into a college savings program where the interest is growing tax-free, or, you know, there may be other options available for you. You just have to, you know, look at what will best suit your needs.
Very good. Thank you. The last question was, this person they purchased 500 units and they only have one child. With the conversions or the things that had additional units that had been done in the rebasing, they now have more than 500 units. And so she's remembering that the maximum a student can use was 125. And her question is, has that increased?
So the maximum distribution that you can use each academic year has been increased. Originally, it was 125 units per academic year. However, with the rebasing going on, and now the maximum number of units that can be purchased is 800, we've increased that distribution amount that you can use every academic year to 200 units. So each academic year, you can use up to 200 units if they're available in your account, and any unused units from prior years. So if you have rollover units, those would be eligible as well. So you definitely could use more than 200 units each academic year, depending on if you have any rollover units. You don't have to use them. That's something to keep in mind, is you're going to want to look at how many units you have in your account, how long that you plan to use them, and kind of budget out what makes sense for you. We have had people who see that they have 200 units eligible, and then they may use all 200 units, and then the next year they end up short because they used, you know, if they have 400 units, then they just used half of their units that they may want to extend out over a 3 or 4 year period. So you want to look at your account and kind of budget for what makes sense to you, but you can use up to 200 units per academic year, and any unused units from prior years will roll over and be available with those.
Okay, great. That was all the questions, Diana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie. I want to take a minute to just thank you for being with us today and asking those questions, and thank you, Jackie, for kind of you know, getting me through those questions. And now I wanted you to take a moment to talk about your Knowledge Cafe you have coming up.
Yes, thank you. As we get ready to close this webinar, we wanted to share with you that this month we actually launched a project called the WA 529 Knowledge Cafe. And it's an online virtual meeting place to learn more about Get and Dream Ahead plans and ask questions live. It's very interactive. The meetings are free and they're open to anyone, and the dates and times can be found on our calendar page on the Get website, which is www.get.wa.gov/events. So there's a calendar. We are doing them every day in the month of May. Some days it's at 10 in the morning and other days it's at 3. So you can check at the calendar page and click on the link for the date you're interested in, and just register to attend. This month we're talking a lot about Get and Dream Ahead specifically, but we will also, as we move ahead, have ongoing topics that include such things as using your units or gifting, 529 plans of financial aid. So there'll be a really great opportunity for people who may not be able to get a whole lot of information just from reading, and they really want to have some time to kind of dialogue and ask questions with other people as well. So join us in the Knowledge Cafe if you get a chance. We would really look forward to meeting other people online. So take a look at that. And if that is all the questions that we have, and there's nothing else, we want to thank you all again for joining us, and thank you, Diana, for facilitating that really good information. I think the last thing to just remind people is to give the contact center a call if you would like to have them look at your account specifically and go over the options that might be suitable for you. So we encourage you to give us a call and let them help you through that. So thank you, Diana, and thank you everyone for joining us. Have a good day.